Okay, my name is Folashade Adefisayo, Lagos State Commissioner for Education, and I'm going to talk about the last Ehingbeti Summit, what we've done since then, and what we hope we'll be able to report at the next summit, which is in a very short while from now. Now, the key actions that we were asked to carry out there were actually 4 key actions, and if you don't mind, I'm going to have to read through them, but I'll summarize them. People wanted us to expedite work on the revision of the curriculum with support from a lot of agencies. And the proposal panel was actually the one that talked about unleashing disruptive innovation for development. Now, what we've done since then is we have actually looked through the existing curriculum, the Nigerian curriculum, and what we've done is spread it out over many weeks and integrated it with what we can call the key skills that every child is supposed to have in the 21st century. This would include things like critical thinking and problem solving, innovation, creativity, digital literacy, personal leadership skills of motivation, public speaking, assertiveness, and of course teamwork and collaboration. So these are not subjects, of course, these are skills, and therefore we've woven them into this curriculum starting from nursery all the way to SS3. So we started to embed it in our curriculum, and we are developing an app which we hope to roll out in the first week in November. The app will include our schemes so that it will be easier for people to use. Because apart from the integration with the skills, we've also included things like web links to videos, to articles. We've included things like online quizzes and so on. So it's quite a bulky document. So now we are putting this whole document on an app and hope that the public will use this to teach in classrooms across the state. The second thing we were asked to look at was to review the teacher training curriculum and increase the frequency of training and assessment to ensure that there are more professionals developed. Well, what we've done is we've done a lot of training for teachers across all levels, all the way from nursery, primary, up to senior secondary. Many of the topics that we touched on are technology related as well, and we also talked about topics like English across the curriculum and how to improve their pedagogical skills. So this is an ongoing sustainable movement, and we're quite excited about this. The third thing was we were asked to partner with the private sector and other stakeholders to develop durable infrastructure. Well, we've gone beyond, and I'll merge it with the next one, which says develop a model for education whereby students can work while schooling and learn experientially, placing emphasis on both in-school and off-school training. Now, this was very interesting for us, and we've expanded it way beyond this. So while we have done a lot of work with the private sector and other stakeholders, what we've focused on has included things like developing a curriculum for what we call our comprehensive school models, where within our existing schools, we are teaching skills at a level where they can go out and work. And part of this requires internship. So they are going to work with private companies, work with government institutions where necessary, just like the resolution said. And of course, one of the hallmarks of the comprehensive school program is that there are 2 major tracks. You can go for you can be an employee, or you can go for entrepreneurship. For entrepreneurship, we are setting up companies within schools so that the students learn to manage companies and learn to make money themselves within school. So that's something that we started. We started with a pilot of 12 schools. We are moving most likely to 50 schools within a few weeks from now. And the governor has also challenged us and said we should get 100 schools by next year, by the end of the session, so to speak. So there's a lot of work being done on all these resolutions, and we've also gone, like I said, way beyond the resolution. The impact and value. The impact has been remarkable, especially the comprehensive schools program, where we started off with this pilot of 12 schools and 720 students. We now, we're getting into the second year, and we are seriously oversubscribed, and that's why there's a push towards 50 schools, because some students just keep begging, please, I want to be part of this program. I want to learn to do all these things. And some of the vocations we are training them on include agriculture, tech and digital skills, fashion, beauty and events, building and construction, media and entertainment, and automotive engineering. And adding another layer to this, we're deliberately teaching things like financial literacy, employability, health, safety and environment, digital literacy, marketing and branding, and of course, speaking and listening skills, negotiation, strategy, and so on. So the students are having a really remarkable time. And the impact on them has been tremendous. What we are now trying to do is, as soon as we follow them all the way, and as soon as we graduate this first set, we'll start to measure impact, or we'll see where they go to, and where they work, and where they end up, what they end up doing. We have to get to 50 and then to 100. Which is quite challenging. It's quite a lot of work because, you know, we have to provide equipment, resources, teachers, and of course, all the students are given tablets, so we have to ensure that we get tablets for all of them. So this has been quite challenging for us, but we are on it, we are working on it. So that's one major project that we have. Another major project that we have here is the question of the guidelines for private schools. We're seriously working on private. We have the largest number of private schools in the country. We've tried to collect data, but many of them operate under the radar. But from our collection of data, we have a minimum of 18 to 20,000 private schools. And so we are strengthening our existing guidelines. We are strengthening our regulation and registration processes, accepting that some of them will probably not meet our registration guidelines. So we are working on developing grades of schools. So it doesn't mean they are bad, but it means that an A school has everything. An E school doesn't have everything, but an E school will also provide a solid basic kind of education, and they have a chance to keep working their way up to A. So, and we'll support them and work with the public and private sector as well. And another, so these are major initiatives. Another major initiative is our determination to work with the private sector. We are developing deliberate relationships with the private sector. When I talked about the comprehensive schools, for instance, they were major players in setting up. We used the curriculum of the private sector. We're using them for internship purposes. The chairman of the committee setting it up, and quite a number of the members are from the private sector. And then again, we developed our curriculum and schemes of work, like I said. And in spreading out our schemes of work, we actually took notes and worked with a lot of private sector organizations as well. Professional bodies, individuals, school owners, any interested stakeholder who felt that, look, I would like to have a say in government curriculum, say in the history curriculum. So it's been quite an interesting journey. Of course, there are other initiatives, smaller initiatives. Another project we've been asked, that we discussed at the Ehingbeti Summit, was about infrastructure, working with the private sector. We're very proud to say that we have just delivered the first school that we built using containers. It's a green school, so we worked with the private sector in developing a concept for a green school, fully digitalized school, fully digital school, and built with containers. So the cost implication is much lower than it is for the typical school. Of course, when you add in we put smart boards in every classroom, and we had the tablets for the students in the classroom. So all these together made up a very interesting concept, working with the private sector. And going forward, we want to focus on these schools built, you know, these green schools. For instance, there's no electricity, no public source of electricity in the school, all solar panels. And the toilets, we have 1 or 2 toilets where we don't use water, where we use a very, very novel biological way of decomposing waste. And so these are some of our projects. Thank you.